Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book, another one. We are giving you guys a super panel talking about Ready to Love. Now, a few people will be joining us in a few minutes' time, but I'm tasked with opening up the show. Listen, this season has started off with a little bit of a bang. It's not too heavy, not too crazy, but a little bit of a bang. I'm not going to be mad at it. I like the way it started, okay? The energy's been right, and there's people seem to be of a ripe old age as well, and it seems like there seems to be a mature cast. I like to think so. But it's interesting. We had great conversations for a few different people, i.e., for me, Quentin, and Lee, and I hope they work out. Janelle was also a fan favorite with Herbert as well. And then also as well, we had also another person now I'm thinking of. I can't think of any other names who were actually all right. I think those were the two. Okay, so I just think those were two that was pretty decent. So we're gonna have a few people coming through super panel wise. I've also put a link in the chat. I'll put it in there again. If you do want to have your say as well, please come and have your say. We'd love to hear what you guys got to say as well, and let me know your thoughts today. Okay, all right. So you're gonna do a massive favor. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like it, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button as well. You've been joining us for the last few hours. We've been on here for the last 3 or 4 hours talking about different things. We talked about Kiki Palmer earlier on. We now split out Ready to Love. And so this is our last leg of tonight. We're talking to you guys about Ready to Love. Let us know your thoughts. What did you guys think about this particular season? I might even go through a couple of tweets as well, because there's some interesting reactions on Ready to Love as well, and how people thought about it as well. So again, if you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button. We want to know your thoughts as well, and hopefully we get to hear some of you guys' takes as well. All right, so we want to see what your takes are around this particular situation. Okay, all right. So yeah, listen, it's crazy out here, I can't explain it. It was nuts to see this season go the way it did. I.e., Tequila was moving mad, and I can't lie to you, she was a little bit crazy on that situation. Don't know what she was going on with as well, but we'll see what happens there. JR, I don't know if JR's even there, baby. Oh, there he goes.
Yes, bro. Good evening, people.
Master J.
How you doing?
How you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, so far so good, my bro.
That's what I like to hear. But first season, we're back again for Ready to Love with a bang. Talk to me. What was your initial thoughts of this season, man, so far? This is episode 1.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Elements of well, I'd say turbulence. Some people not feeling people straight off the bat as soon as they sat down for a convo. It's very early, so you can't really see how it's going to go at the moment, but intriguing. I would definitely say it's intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing how the season progresses and some of these journeys progress, who connects with who. But yeah, as you mentioned, there was some mad behavior that I heard, and I also questioned some of the selection process, particularly with some of the men on this season. After hearing what some of them did as an occupation and matching that with wanting to find love, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Let's get into it while we're already here. So you said some of the men, a little bit of suspects. Talk to me, man.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
So I'm thinking erotic novelist into BDSM, leading with it, and also talking about wanting to, like chain ladies up in the dungeon and all that type of stuff. I was like, how did this dude get on Ready to Love? Like, I mean, surely he would find somebody more like-minded in one of the parties or whatever it is that he does. But to come on a TV show where you're going to meet people who are, in some cases, really serious about finding love and have, occupations that are more palatable, I would have thought that would have put him at a detriment straight away, just you know, we heard the comment about the DJ and comedian being a thought job. Well, I would have thought the BDSM erotic novelist, that's definitely going to be up there in terms of red flag. I would have thought, you know, you're making a living off of basically writing dirty stories, telling dirty stories, and chaining people up and whipping them and doing all types of other things. So that was one that stood out straight away.
Now, it's interesting you mentioned that, because actually the person who said that they were interested, it's the same person who said that it's a thought job, which is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why what I was saying earlier on, that Unique is telling bold-faced lies when she says it's a thought job, but is willing to be intrigued and interested by someone who is job is to write erotic novels. What do you make of that? If somebody, you know, as Unique, obviously, kind of telling those you know, halfway truths and stuff. What's your kind of thoughts around that?
Yeah, I felt that she was very I think she was very judgmental about the DJ. You know, DJing is, yeah, okay, there are some that get groupies and things like that, but for the most part, they're there to set the tone for whatever event it is. And, you know, for her to make that type of statement, I thought it was a bit of a I want to say a hypocritical thing to say, but she's not obviously in the situation. But to say that one guy and write him off, dismiss him, not be interested in what he was talking about, and then to be intrigued by this erotic novelist dude, I get it. There may be some eye candy involved. She may feel like she's intrigued by the way he looks and things, but that occupation alone is going to be problematic for any relationship. Like any relationship. Maybe she's curious about that side of, you know, the sexual exploits or whatever. But other than that, I can't see why she would be interested knowing what he does, because he's led with it. He hasn't hidden it at all. He led with it. Every conversation he had, pretty much, he was mentioning what he does for a living. And I'm not saying hide it. I'm just saying I would think it's the wrong occupation to be coming on a show looking for a serious relationship. That's what my point is.
I like it. Hey, Sabrina, good to see you, babe.
Jojo, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Good.
We're talking about Unique and quote unquote double standards. She had the DJ in one place where she said it's a thought job, but then was very intrigued by the gentleman, I can't remember his name now, it's gone out of my head, who you know,
was the
erotic author. Right. Yeah. I want to get your kind of thoughts. What did you think of that particular situation?
For me, when she was asking the questions, because you guys know how I am. I'm pretty blunt. And if it's something that comes to my head and if I want to ask it, I'm going to ask it. So I appreciated her transparency. I appreciated her being herself, but I didn't really appreciate how she responded to his answers. It was kind of like you asked him the questions, but because he didn't answer the way that you probably wanted him to answer, it was like she was slightly she had like a really disgusted look on her face. Like, oh my God, like, what did you expect this grown ass man to say? Like, he's had experiences in his life and I appreciated his honesty. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's better to find out now and that he's had these experiences. So maybe he's ready to settle down and have these experiences with his woman now. You know what I mean? So yeah, and the fact that he said he didn't want to wait until marriage, I get it. Everyone is different. You know, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Everyone does have a past. So it's kind of you know, why be judgmental about it? So it kind of made me feel that type of way. And then when she was like, yeah, and that guy Marvin, isn't that his name? Marvin? And Marvin, he do something to me. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, you know, so, but, you know, to each his own. Maybe it was because she just wasn't as maybe physically attracted to him as she was with Marvin. And it was like she was trying to give herself an excuse to not feel this man, you know what I mean? And she made up an excuse to like Marvin. So, you know, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
No, good thoughts. JR, do you want to check back in again?
Yeah, I definitely can see that perspective as well. So when we listened to what the DJ actually said to her, he basically was saying that he's a family man and he wants to settle down. He's looking for the right one. And that still wasn't enough for her to even give him credit for that, you know. It was more like, I'm completely put off by what you do for a living. I'm not physically attracted to you, so I'm not interested. I'm not entertaining you. I'm not even going to give you my attention, no eye contact. I'm not even going to pretend to be interested. That's what it gave to me. Now, the problem is whether that bodes well for her going forward, because, you know, he instantly realized that there's no connection. And as such, when it was, who do you least connect with, you know, her name was brought up.
So what's your thoughts on, and because you were going to touch on it, JR, the thoughts on, is it Brandon? He's 6 months out of a marriage, divorced. And not only that, he has 4 kids as well. And you know, it is interesting. You know how I feel about people that come out of marriages so quickly, divorces, and he's married the mother of his kids is twice as well. So, you know, I'm not even mad at the fact that he married her twice. I mean, he did it the first time, thought to himself, try again, and at least he tried. But what's your thoughts there, JR? And I'll go to Sabrina and get her.
Right. So this was the other guy that I questioned what he was doing on the show, because, you know, all right. So at first I was like, man, why? But then I thought to myself, okay, he's got his kids with one woman. It's the woman that he married twice. So maybe there is an element of trying to make it work. And one of the ladies even supported, like, fended for him when, you know, that was a turnoff for another lady. So, but at the end of the day, 6 months is too short of a time period to want to bring someone else into a relationship situation where you have 4 kids and, you know, it's still kind of fresh. He hasn't been by himself long enough to sort out how childcare and all these other different things are going to work for even a year yet, like 6 months. So he just seems like he's ready to get back out there. And the problem with that is, you know, it may be a lot to take on, having so much of his time divided between this previous family situation as well as trying to start something new. So I definitely question. But again, I think eye candy may get him a bit further in the process. But that's, to me, like, he was the second guy. I was like, what is he doing on the show?
Sabrina, what's your thoughts?
So I thought to myself, if I was on the show and he had walked up to me and told me that. So my thing I'm going to say about Brandon is kudos to you. You know, grown man trying to be a grown man. You know what I mean? He did try twice. I, you know, commend him for that. It's not men out here that's even trying to try half a try. You know what I mean? To even make a relationship work, let alone trying to make a marriage work again. So I commend him for that, and, you know, trying to do it, you know, for the kids and to see, you know, where it could go. So I definitely respect him in that aspect. But JR hit it. The issue that I kind of had with him, and let me say this too, like I do, and I commend him for, you know, putting himself back out there and not giving up hope on love, you know, and it's a lot of men I mean, at the end of the day, it's a lot of, just like it's a lot of bitter women, it's a lot of bitter men out here too. You know what I mean? And for him to still have hope and to still, like, you know, kind of looking at the bright side of it, you're like, I'm going to put myself out there because I really feel like I can find love out there. It wasn't with her, then maybe it's someone else. So, you know, kudos to him for that. But the fact that it's only been 6 months into the divorce, but I can personally say that in a divorce, even though he's been divorced 6 months, they could have been separated for 2 years. They could have been separated for 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know his story. And I know a lot of people are like, red flags, he's a walking red flag. Like, I'm like, damn, it was the first episode. Like, we really don't know. And that's just the type of person that I am. Like, I just feel like I need more. Like, I need to know more. You know, I'm not saying he won't end up being a red flag, but for me, I just feel like before I kind of, you know, judge him and feel like he's not ready and he's probably the first walking red flag that we see, but in real life, he might be the only one really there for love, and he might actually meet a woman and treat her like a queen, and they live happily ever after forever, you know, but we don't know that. But that's just how I think, you know. But I really hope that, you know, he does takes his time and he doesn't rush into anything, because it is, you know, a little soon for him to, you know, this is ready for love. Like, people out here, people that come on the show, like, we ready to get married. We trying to drop our last name. We trying to get bunned up. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, for the show, I'm sure it's a lot of people that's watching it saying, yeah, he didn't need to be on the show. You know what I mean? But who are we to say if he's really ready and that he shouldn't have been on the show or not? You know, it's just my perspective.
Love it. Any other thoughts on that, JR? Go for it.
Yeah, I can totally get that. It's still very early, so he led with that. There's still maybe some time to go for him to explain more about the situation, if he does end up doing so. So yeah, it's quite feasible he could have been separated for longer, but the divorce was only finalized recently. But again, I just come back to, it's still going to be a lot for someone coming in fresh to deal with, even if they have children or not. You know, this guy's got 4 kids. That's a lot of money coming out of the house to support those 4 kids. And that's money that could be going towards a new relationship if the partner really, you know, thinks about it that deeply. And then, you know, you're always going to be at the beckoning call of, you know, what could potentially be happening in school or in life, or, you know, what they need growing up for their development, you know. And also, is there still like a good interaction between him and the ex-wife? You know, so the new partner, whoever he chooses, if he does manage to, we'll have to take that into consideration as well when weighing up whether he's a good match compared to all of the other guys who are there, who may not have that much stuff going on.
Leanne, I'll go for it, Sabrina. You want to add a bit more? Go for it.
And I agree with you too, JR, with that. But for real, 4 kids, it may seem like a lot. Like, I'm always like the devil's advocate, I guess. I'm just that person. But for me, like, we don't know how much money this man made. He may be making like $1.3 million a year. He might can take care of 4 kids, your kids, her kids, and my kids. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't know. And that just brings it back to the point of, it's still so much more that we don't know about him. You know, so, but I'm here for it either way. But, you know, it's a lot of kids. But I feel like this: if I could have had 10 kids, if I could have afforded 10 kids and my body could have handled it, I probably would have. You know what I mean? So just never know.
No, I love that. And I love the fact that Sabrina's trying to be fair. We will slaughter him on this channel for sure. All right, cool. So obviously the bottom 4. I can't remember who the 4th person was. It HABIB, who was in the bottom 4 as well. The other person, right?
Was
HABIB was the other person. So Brandon, HABIB, Leanne, and TEQUILA were in the bottom for both men and women. I want to get your thoughts. Why do you feel? I mean, we can say whether we agree or not. I don't think it's even our place to even say because we didn't experience them. But why do you think those 4 were in the bottom 4? What did you glean? What did you notice? What did you pick up as to why you feel like they're in the bottom 4? Yes, Serena, go for it.
So I don't know the lady's name. Literally, I was trying to watch it before this panel because I was like, I don't know anybody's name. But
That's
the
all right.
lady that got eliminated, I want to say for her, she seemed like she was so reserved. Honestly, how I felt she was very, very secure within herself. She kind of gave off like, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I have to do because I'm not going to be going anywhere. You know, all this fabulousness, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm goody. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of person that's the kind of aura that I was getting from her. And she's a beautiful woman, but she just seemed very, very like overly self-confident about the situation. I don't think that she thought that she was going to be going home. For Tequila, and I heard you earlier, it's Tequila, not tequila.
Oh, Tequila. My bad.
Tequila. I was like, you keep saying tequila.
I'll be like,
So
Tequila,
Tequila.
baby. This young lady here.
Yeah, Tequila. I'm not sure. I really don't know why she was on the bottom. Because I kind of felt like Sierra, the one with the short blonde hair. I was like, hey, they got a Sabrina and a anyway. When I saw Sierra, I felt like she really wasn't making that much of like connections, but you know, editing, it's a lot that they don't show. I don't know, but I actually liked Tequila's personality and I, you know, wanted to see more of her, but to see her on the bottom more than like the other, and it was another lady, I can't even remember her name, but she wasn't on the bottom either. So I don't know. Obviously, she had done something to make the guys feel like, yeah, it's time for her to go. But maybe we didn't see it. They didn't show it. I don't know. Y'all know it's a lot that has to do with editing and not necessarily editing, but what they don't show, because it's a lot of stuff that they don't show. HABIB, if he asked one more time, who would you cheat on him with? I was like, what? He was like, who would you cheat on me with? Would you cheat on me with him? You won't cheat. You a cheater. I was just like, what? Like, it was just awkward for me. I just don't know. And I was like, if he tells one more person that he's a saxophonist, I was like, so like you here looking for love or you trying to be the plug? Like, it was making me feel a type of way. I think he's really, really handsome. I love that he is really like connected with his culture, but he was giving off salesman. For Brandon, we all know why he was on the bottom. Yeah, we all know why he was on the bottom. I mean, it's nothing more that I can say. Obviously to the women, he, you know, is a red flag to them and they're just not interested in being ready to love with a man that just got divorced 6 months ago with 4 children, twice with the same woman.
I appreciate Sabrina. JR, the 4 on the bottom, what are you saying?
Yeah, so I can actually see why all 4 of them were at the bottom. From my perspective, Leanne, I think her name is. She, I don't want to be mean, but she's the oldest on the entire cast.
That's true.
And I think there may be a chemistry or personality. You know, it was a bit off and she didn't gravitate. Like none of the men really found her endearing enough. And I think she actually was surprised to get sent home. Nobody wants to get sent home first. I can imagine it must be, you know, you just got there and then you're the first to go home. I get it. But yeah, she just didn't seem to be into any of the guys there. So she didn't hit the ground running. And I think in the mixer situation, you literally have to hit the ground running before you start to engage in a lengthy process of dating in multiple scenarios. You know, the guys really want to have a feel for who you are and if they really stand a chance with a potential relationship, if not some good dates. So I can understand that one. With Tequila, I think that is more of I want to say an attitude issue. Like one of the opening statements she made in her confessional, her vignette, was that, you know, she feels like men like women with attitude, so she's here to bring it, right? And I think even though she did work the room, she did speak to quite a few guys, I don't think that they resonated with the attitude and personality that she particularly has. No shade to her, but I also think when she was interacting with HABIB after she survived the elimination, I think that was more okay. Now I'm upset at these guys that I've spoken to already for putting me down in the bottom, but I don't think HABIB put me down there because me and HABIB vibe. So that's what I think she was doing there. As we explained with the train dispatcher, Brandon, you know, his situation may be a lot for some women to, you know, at first glance or the aesthetics of it, hearing his situation, some women may have been like, yeah, you know what, he may look good, but that's too much. And HABIB, man, he came across to me as very insecure. I'll tell you why, because like Sabrina said, he kept on, like every single conversation in a certain segment, it was like, would you cheat on me? Or, you know, would you cheat on him with me? Why are you thinking like that when you've just met these ladies and you should be kind of putting yourself out there to introduce, get to know them, you know, some charm. And, you know, when he was with Tequila, you know, it wasn't as problematic, I want to say. It was a lot more smoother, their interaction. There was some humor there. There was some, you know, light flirting as well there. So I think that may be a possible match. But I can also see why it was a turnoff for some of the other ladies. It came across as very insecure. And yeah, like he's actually a DJ as well as a saxophonist, but I don't know why he hasn't led with the DJ part. Maybe because he feels like the saxophonist is more of a sensual instrument and it's something different that you don't come across every day, trying to be unique. I'm not sure. He already has a unique look, trying to bring the Dubai look to Texas for some reason. So, you know, I can see why he was down there. So all four of them, I wasn't really surprised, to be honest.
Listen, definitely hear you. I think the right four at the bottom as well. Brandon, we all know why. HABIB, he's full of air. Tequila, I think she just needs a little bit more confidence about herself, you know, and belief and self-worth because, you know, she's a very beautiful woman, got good energy, but just needs to believe in herself. And Leanne, you know, listen, Leanne, stay classy. She looked good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think her age might have played a role in it as well, in terms of the men actually connecting with her as well going forward. So I understand that particular part. Let's talk a little bit about then HABIB then, because you know he was full of air, and I know you guys talked a little bit about him, but you know, like he said, he made some comments that were interesting. You know, one of the girls even said that, you know, you didn't even ask me about me, but I'm gonna still tell you about myself. So you know, he obviously has been dropping these game about, you know, he's come from Arab culture, he's in love with it. He's really from Arlington, but you know, he's all about the Arab lifestyle now, and he's in Dubai, and he's a musician, and you know, he gonna tell you that, listen, would you cheat on your man with me, or cheat on your ex with me, or whatever he wants to cheat with? He probably say cheat with a wallpaper if he can. Listen, he is an interesting character, but I want to get your thoughts. What did you actually think, in deeper thoughts, with HABIB and his particular way of moving around the dating scene? Yes, Sabrina.
I think that he needs validation. I think that he has insecurity issues. I think that he needs to go find himself. all the traveling he did, going to Dubai and doing this and doing that. Like, all that is cool, but his energy is giving like little boy energy to me. I was kind of taken aback by like his conversation was like she said, like, well, since you didn't ask about me, it was like he was trying too hard. Like, well, let me tell you about me. Let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you, focus on me, but you gonna cheat on me. Like, it was just awkward to kind of watch him. The things that he was just saying, it was like, let me put some bait on the hook and let me throw it out and let me see who I can get. But it was like, no, like he didn't have any depth about him. I know me sitting there, because I know with me, I love to have like serious conversations. Like I want to get deep with you. Like I want to know what's going on with you. And he was very surface level. He is on the chopping block, and I can honestly say that I would rather see him go than Brandon, to be honest with you. I'm sure he's a great guy, and if you're watching, sorry, HABIB. But I really feel like he's a great guy, but I really feel like he needs to kind of go have some more like life lessons. I don't know, maybe he needs to have some more lessons about women too, and how you talk to women and how you approach women. I don't know. I just feel like he is giving really like little boy energy, and I think he needs a lot of growing up to do. I could be wrong, but
hey, you know what? I hear you on that. JR, HABIB.
Yeah, like Habibi means love. That's what the word actually. So that's not his actual name. His name's Travis. All right.
let me put myself on.
So just I'll put that out there. Habibi means love. He's trying to use that in this show. Yeah, like I said before, he gave me insecure vibes, but I also think he has an element, like a light-hearted, good sense of humor type energy about him as well. He is the youngest male on the show. He's only about 33, I think. So, if you put him in a setting where he's around more mature men and women, he's going to seem like the immature one because he doesn't have that personality, let alone the probably the life experience that some of the others have. So yeah, I just think he did come across as quite self-centered when he didn't even ask about that particular lady that he was sitting with. And I noticed that straight away. I was like, dude, you're meant to be getting to know her, but all you're doing is talking about yourself. So you're not interested in her. But again, it's still early. I'm not sure how long he's going to last on there, because, a lot of the ladies are turned off by him already. And I'm not sure how he's going to pull it around, change it around, unless he brings out the saxophone and starts trying to harmonize and serenade some of these women.
In the nude.
Yeah, exactly. With the head wrap on and everything still. Like, so I'm not sure how he's going to turn it around, to be honest. To be as spoken about in a negative context so early. Yeah, but Tequila did fight for him, and she sees something. So maybe there may be 2 or 3 others that might begin to see something. We all saw what happened last season to Blake. Straight away, he got heat pretty much from the get-go, and he was able to survive the end. So maybe Habibi is this season's Blake. It could happen. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but it could be.
I feel like the only reason she saw it was because she is trying to save herself. Okay. She's like, oh shit, I'm on the bottom. Oh, sorry, Coach. I'm on the bottom. He was on the bottom. I'm gonna go connect with him and we can try to get to the top together. There was no connection there. He was like, I kiss my hand. Why ain't you kiss my hand? I'm gonna kiss yours later. What? I'm sorry. What? She was like, okay, what? I would have been like, I don't care how many cameras. I would have been like, well, that was corny. Come on now. She was like, we were, no, that wasn't the case. No. So I feel like that they're looking at each other like, let's save each other. There was absolutely no connection there. I'm sorry to cut you off, Jay. I kissed my hand. You see, and he had to tell her, you saw I kiss your hand, right? I mean, I kissed my hand. She was like, oh, like he had to tell her, like, I ain't kiss your hand, I kiss mine. Like what? I'm sorry.
No. Listen, I think he's a bit of a playboy. He's playing around. And I was like, what was he doing? Why was he kissing his hand and telling her? It's just such a game. You know what I mean? Like, to try and drop that as bars and try and get her to get her to literally surrender to you. But in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I wasn't feeling HABIB and his behavior. And I just think I just felt like when he was asking questions about like cheating stuff and everything, for me personally, it's just like you're not grown, you're not mature. You're still here to play games. You're still here to, get your ego fed. And if you're here for that ain't here. You're not ready to love. You know what I'm saying? You're ready for something else, and that's okay. Just this ain't the show for it. You know what I mean? This ain't the show for it. So yeah, I felt he was a little bit unserious when it comes to the ladies and approaching them and stuff like that. And a good point about the fact that they're probably using each other as well, in terms of TEQUILA and him. She needs somebody who needs to be invested in her, and she needs to be invested in someone else, So good point. Yeah, never saw it that way, but it makes sense. I can work with it. I don't know if he's going to be this time's Blake. Maybe he will be. So let me reserve some of my judgment just in case he's this season's Blake. Let's talk a little bit then about TEQUILA herself then, because it felt a little bit like TEQUILA, she showed her vulnerability, but also at the same time, I felt like with TEQUILA, she showed me her frailties. And I was like, baby, look, there's nothing wrong with crying. We don't mind it here. But I felt like TEQUILA, her energy was almost like, how do we say, there was too much. There wasn't. I didn't feel like she had the self-worth and the self-esteem was there. Where the way she was crying about the situation, about almost like nobody wants me kind of situation. I was like, baby, people want you. You're a fine woman. Don't worry about it. People want you. But why don't you believe that? Why is it that because you got put in the bottom that you now suddenly have to question your kind of self-worth and self-esteem and your position and stuff? And that made me think maybe she's, maybe there's an insecurity there. Maybe there's some aspects of that as well. Go for it, Joe. Yeah.
I was going to say somebody does want her, and it's HABIB. But like Sabrina said, they're using each other, right? They're both in the bottom, and they both worked the room. They both ended up feeling like, wow, like I think I might have did enough to at least survive not being in the bottom. She was particularly pissed about it. But at the end of the day, all she has to do is present her authentic self, and it's down to the guys to really see if they connect with how she presents, and vice versa. The women do the same with the men. So I can see why she kind of felt dejected, because she had probably had higher hopes. She probably didn't think she was going to be down there. It's not the end of the world, but if this connection with HABIB is enough to maybe help her survive another week or two, who knows? She may even gain more suitors in the process. But yeah, I wasn't surprised that she was pissed, because the energy she came in with was, I thought she was quite confident, but obviously turned out to be like a fragile confidence. But remember, there were like, how many guys that, other than HABIB, there's like 9 guys in total. Yeah, 9 guys in total. So 8 of them weren't feeling her. That's not good odds. So I can see why she was a bit upset by that.
Didn't think of it like that. Go for it, Sabrina.
Well, let her tell it. They all lying because she said that's not what they had said. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, to be honest with you, oh God, whenever I do these panels, I really try not to relate it to when I, coach. I really try not to relate it to when I was on the show. But I'm saying the very first day in real life, don't nobody want to go home. You don't want to be the person that went home first. You know what I'm saying? Like, golly, like think about all the different emotions. And then the first time you being in front of 45 cameras, in front of Tommy, in front of the producers, in front of being on TV. You know what I mean? You're thinking all these different things, like how my hair look. Do I got lipstick on my teeth? Oh my God, am I sweating? Do I got boob sweat? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's so many different things that you're thinking. And then it's like on top of that, you're trying to make an impression on these guys. And it's like you want to just genuinely just have a regular conversation, but you got 54 cameras in your face. So it's like I get it because I've been there. So it's like I understand. But, you know, Tequila, she's a beautiful girl. But I think that, you know, I get why she was emotional. I mean, in real life, who really wants to be rejected? You know what I'm saying? And obviously that was a trigger for her because she said it. She said, you know, in my most of my relationships, like I feel like this is like a situation I had with my ex. You know what I mean? So my thought process is when that happened, I was like, oh my God, is she gonna really be mentally okay to go through this process? Because if she can't handle like being on the bottom on the first night, what's going to happen if she really falls for one of these guys and he picks somebody else? Like, how is she going to act? How is she going to respond? Is she going to be mentally okay? Because a lot of people actually had to get some therapy after the show from being on it. And that's real because you really do go through it. Like, it's real. And, you know, I mean, I just don't know. Like, maybe it's her best bet to maybe get eliminated early. I would love to see her journey, but I really hope that she can, like, you know, like kind of go home after, of course, it's already filmed, but I hope that she went home and kind of was like, woosah. Like, if I get it, I was about to say evicted. I'm thinking work. If she gets eliminated, then she says to herself, if that happens, then you know what, I'm going to be okay with it. The fact that I was on the show, I enjoyed the experience. I met some amazing people, and I hope that she ends like that. But you know, I'm interested in seeing how her journey goes because it seems like a lot of the women actually put out there like they have certain triggers, and we see that that's one of hers. So just interested in seeing how it's going to go.
Yeah, I would just follow on from that and saying if that is something that is one of her triggers, if she knows that, then this format is going to be quite difficult for her because, you know, you're going to have some women being favored over others.
Mm-hmm.
And she may be on the unlucky side of that. And it's how you deal with that rejection that might actually give you more of a chance to change whatever it is people are saying and maybe come with a different energy and attract more of the guys. So if she didn't know that it was a trigger for her before, she knows now. So it's what she does from here on that's going to be the main thing in her journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think with Tequila, you know, sorry, Tequila, sorry. I think with her situation, you know, I listen. You're right. It's tough. This, of course, this particular journey is very tough. It is, you know, it puts you in a position where, you know, people are going to be judging you, and that can be very difficult. You open yourself up to people, and you know, you're hoping that they like you and hoping that they don't reject you. You know, it is tough. I can't lie to you, right? I think to myself, Don't let him sweat though. Don't let him see you sweat. You know what I mean? I just like, especially with men around, don't let us see you sweat, because like you just can't tell if all our intentions are good. Do you know what I mean? Like how Habib obviously picked up on the fact she was alone. That you don't want to be in that position, because if the wolf gets ahead of you, it's gonna be long. It's gonna be somebody's dinner. Now, Maury obviously first got in there first, and you can see that he was trying to coach her, trying to uplift her, and let her know, listen, hey, like, have a positive mindset. But you know, when Habiba got there, and I was like, okay, now she may be using him as well as much as he's using her. But I was like, baby, look, I hope you know what you're doing. Because oh boy, he's willing to take advantage of you to be able to stay in the game, use your loyalty, use your liking for him to stay in the game. So it's like don't let Wolves see you sweat like this, man. Do you know what I mean? You save that for the closet. You cry, you break down in your closet. But doing it out there in them underneath the umbrellas, so people can see you. I was like, I don't even trust Habib already, and already he was latched onto you, and I felt like Habib just smelled blood. That's what it felt like. But of course, that's the editing, and we don't know 100%. But it felt like he smelled blood and was like, oh no, baby, you ain't gonna, oh, you ain't gonna cry out here by yourself. No, I'm gonna show you, and we can talk about this as well, which is that then led on to what she did later on, where she put the snide remark on the ladies by saying, y'all don't know what true love is. And I'm looking at her like, I thought you might have been using him, but baby, clearly, darling, you literally might be thinking that he is a ride or die for you, baby. And whenever people have ride or die energy, they die. You know what I mean? So you don't get to ride it out for very long, you know? So I did think to myself, like, hey, now Habib is now on your mind. I'm like, why is Habib the one that is got all your attention? And I think it's that he's an attractive man, he's good looking, he's got charisma. It's the ultimate pick me up. Mari isn't the pick me up. Habib is. Because both of them did the same job, but there's only one person she's given that loyalty to, and it's Habib. And that should let you know too. I think that was a pick me up. That was a validational statement by him, you know, liking her and saying, would you? And the fact that she answered the question about would you cheat, she wasn't smart enough to see that maybe I shouldn't answer this question. She let us down. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts to that as well? Because obviously the situation with the ladies too happened as well. Go for it, JR.
Yeah, like when I saw that scene, I thought there definitely more happened, but it was edited in a way to just keep it brief. Because what's her name? I think her name's Janelle. She was quite vocal on the show. And I don't think she would have tolerated that kind of comment and let it slide like that. You know, maybe when the cameras were off, they had a conversation, but the way it was just left like that, I suspect like something else took place. But as we see later on in some of the previews, it does get a bit feisty between some of the ladies. That comment was very snide, and it was definitely a dig. And again, she was riding for Habibi when the others were talking about how basically he seems phony and not ready. So, but I also have to mention that Tequila wasn't the only one that cried. Brandon cried as well. Brandon shed a tear when he was in the bottom. So, like we were all agreeing, it must be a very daunting process, and to be eliminated first, you know, that is a huge thing to do. It's like a walk of shame, pretty much. You've come out there, you've tried to do your best to get to meet people, and immediately they decided that you're not for them. So it's a shot to the ego, a shot to the self-esteem. You know, self-confidence might be knocked for a little bit, but you know, in this process, it seems like because there's eliminations every week, there is a risk you can go home or be in the bottom. So you have to have that resilience to still go out there, put a brave face on. We've all seen that when they try to grill the men or grill the women who they feel have voted them down, when they try to grill them straight away, oh, why was I down there? It doesn't work. It's not a good look. So you have to be able to bounce back. You have to have bounce back ability, and not pretend that it doesn't happen, but try and improve the situation if you want to really stay on the show and have a chance.
Yeah, you definitely have to be vulnerable, but you have to have like your guards up, but then you should still be genuine. Like it's a process, like, and it's a lot, and it's a lot of filming, it's a lot of long hours, and you're filming all day, but then it's like after you're filming, you have to go home and you have to talk to these people. You have to text these people. So literally, I'm at home texting and talking to 6 other guys because, of course, the other 3 I might not be interested or they're not interested in me. So you're literally on the phone with them all day, texting them all day, trying to really get to know them. And and then you're back filming, and then it's like you have to kind of like turn back on, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely challenging, especially really trying to meet someone. I didn't think it was going to be that hard, but really trying to meet someone like on TV. Like I'm thinking when I first thought like I'm about to go meet my husband, I'm about to find me somebody. But then when you're really in the process, you're like, oh shoot, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought. You know what I mean? So, yeah. With the jab that she took, you have to kind of think at the end of the day, it's a competition. You know what I mean? Period. Like I didn't realize it until I did, but now since I've been on it now, since I've watched it, like it's a freaking competition. And it's a lot of people that's there that's not for love. And like I used to say all the time when I used to talk about my season, I used to be like, it's like Game of Thrones out this joint. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it really feels. And they will be in cahoots. They will have like what is it called? What is it, JR? I know you know how people get together and they have like an alliance. Like they have alliances. You're gonna be with her, she's gonna be with you, and y'all and y'all and we gonna but we're gonna eliminate her. Like that's real, and we just don't know like how it's gonna go. And that's why I say it's so soon. And in a lot of the seasons, if y'all know and remember from the very beginning, it's kind of like, you think this person is going to be this way, this way, this way. And by the time we get to the 7th episode, we like, oh, shoot, she the villain. Or, oh, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just really don't know. So it's like maybe she made that, I'm playing that person. Maybe she made that sly remark because maybe those girls were being mean to her all day. Like, you really don't know, because I know I experienced it. Like I didn't voice it. I didn't show it on camera. I went on them off camera. But yeah, like they might have was being mean girls to her. Because it happens. So we don't know, and her being on the bottom, so we don't know like what happened to make her like, do that and to say that. So sad, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ready to Love has been a game show. It's been an elimination show. It's been a war front. It's been a competition for a very long time. And actually, that's actually how you get through the season. You have to be able to do 2 things at once: fight for love, but at the same time, fight in the competition. Yeah. And the ones who are best adaptable at doing it are the ones that usually win. And that's the difficulty of this situation. It's tough, to be able to do that, and not everybody has the aggression and the grit to want to do that on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? And then not only are you doing that, you're trying to obviously juggle several people at the same time. I can't lie to you. I would have been eliminated after the first 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Because I'm not juggling everybody. Okay, I'm definitely going to send you the text like, "Hey, big head, what's going on?" And her funeral like 2-3 days. You know what I mean? And those who I really want, I'm going to do that. I'm a Puller Blake. I can't chat to 5-6 people on a depth level. My energy physically won't allow me to do it. So I probably would end up forming some alliances. I would play some games. I would, speak to some of the ladies, say, "Hey, look, you vote for me, I vote for you. You scratch my back, I'm gonna scratch yours. You love on me, I'm gonna love on you." You know what I mean? Because I can't physically talk to that many people along the way. So yes, it's about who can best maintain those people in their base and keep them on side.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do, and it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? So someone like Tequila, if that is sorry, if that is something that she's not going to be very good at, or is that something that she doesn't like or doesn't want it to be a competition, this is the wrong show, because this show is a damn competition. You don't pitch it like that, but it's a competition.
Yeah.
It's a war front, you know? Yeah. Anyway, lasting thoughts on Tequila before I move it on? No? Okay, fantastic stuff. All right, cool. So so out was Tequila then. So then the next situation I think I want to talk about is Q and Quentin, sorry, and Lee. They had a really interesting connection. You know, it looked like, you know, they look aesthetically pleasing. You know, I can't lie to you, it has potential. You know, but you know, I can never put my eggs in the basket of Ready to Love. Can't lie to you. Love my Uncle Tommy, but we can't trust y'all. Okay, we've had 8 seasons. It starts off real well, and then someone does something. But we're hoping that this might be the season that we get some real love up in here. Quentin and Lee look good, but it's only the first day. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but what's your thoughts on Quentin and Lee and their discussion, and, you know, and what you thought about them two going forward? I know old boy tattooed his ex-girlfriend on him. So, yeah. Yes, Sabrina, go for it. Your mic's already open. Go for it, babe.
I absolutely love them. I think she is a cutie pie, and I think he is nice looking. I liked, like, when they were on the screen, I liked watching them together. They looked like they had great chemistry. It seemed like it was mutual for the both of them, and I'm just excited to see their journey. You know, I think they complement each other well, because I think she's into fitness. Like, she's like the instructor, I think they showed, and he's a personal trainer, and, you know, so, and they have, like, you know, common interests as well. So I'm definitely excited to see their journey.
Yeah, I like their connection too. I think they connected over a similar occupation, which probably leads to a similar lifestyle. Plus, aesthetically, they like each other. So it was good to see organic, holistic connection. They talked about previous relationships. It didn't put the other person off. And they had some humor, a little bit of flirt in there as well. So yeah, I like the connection. It seemed like a good one.
What do you think of the fact that both of them said something interesting? So she said about her mum was a young mum, you know, and she basically didn't want to be this young mum. And then obviously at the same time, you know, he said obviously the fact that, you know, the reason why the last relationship didn't really work out, he obviously tattooed on his finger, but, you know, he wasn't very strong in the past. He wanted marriage, but it sounded like he wasn't very strong in his boundaries in a sense as well. So what was your thoughts on those two and those particular aspects of their relationship in that regard?
You can go, JR.
All right. Well, I liked the fact that they were also vulnerable about that, because you know, even despite her mum being a young mum, she did say that her parents had been married for a long time, right? I think it was 29 years or something like that. And he countered that by saying his parents had been married even longer. So that's another thing that brought them close together. So she's avoided the trap of being a young mum. She's in her 30s now. I think she's about 35 or something like that. So, you know, she's avoided that trap successfully. And now, if she looks at who's in front of her and manages to build on this connection, and likewise, if he can do that, then, you know, there could be real good things coming. But again, it's early days. It's only day one. But like I said before, you really want to, in my opinion, hit the ground rolling by at least establishing a connection with somebody. And this one looks like a very genuine. No one's using anyone. It seems authentic. They seem to get along well. So, you know, I can't knock it at all. Nothing bad to say.
Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say either. I love that they got a little deep. They talked about, bringing up the fact, and then with the parents and how, because it's, when you see your parents, especially because I know my parents were married 50 years, the good, the bad, the ugly, I saw it. 50 years is a really, really long time. And to meet someone that was in a household kind of the same and we're having conversations, it kind of would make me personally feel like, oh, okay, so they understand the values. They understand, like, they've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. They've seen their dad come home. They've seen their mom come home. They've seen them fight, but guess what? They still stayed together, and to see that, especially like, when you first meet someone and that's one of the things that they say, it kind of makes you want to dig a little bit deeper within their core values and, like what their morals are. So it's like you want to learn more, the fact that he had the tattoo on his finger. I don't know. I kind of felt like why he had to tell us that part. Like every time I hold your hand, I'm gonna be like thinking, you know what I'm saying? That was probably one of the things I felt like when I was watching this episode. Like he didn't have to tell us that part. You know what I mean? So I kind of wish that he would have like left that out because it wasn't necessary. So I appreciate the story, but it's just me.
I agree. I think that was pretty bold of him to say that, for the same reason you said. Like, people are now going to pay attention to his hand, and they're going to be like, "Wow, if you really were feeling your ex like that to tattoo her name on you, then why haven't you had it removed?" But I think sooner or later, if he hadn't mentioned it at some point, it would have been noticeable because he's not wearing anything to cover it. And as the process goes on, people are going to look more at more than just the muscles, and they're probably going to hone in on features that he has. And if they see that, then he will have question time. And although he said it to her, we don't know if she's gone back to the group and told them. So at some point, he may face some tough questions from some of the more observant and opinionated cast members, and we'll have to see how he handles that. But yeah, a note to everybody out there: if you're going to tattoo something, it's permanent usually, and it's very painful to get removed. So it's not something you should do, and think that it's going to help you to move on to your next relationship.
Yeah. But he didn't tell her. He said it like on his green screen, because that's when they showed the picture of his finger. So he didn't tell her. So he doesn't have to worry about her going back telling anybody else just yet.
Just yet.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think what was key about it also too, I really like the energy. So just in case everybody wants to see who they are, because I hear the panel, the chat are crying about they don't know who they look like. Y'all need to pay attention. That's what y'all need to do. This is Lee. God damn. Let me remain composed and read my Bible. That is Lee, and then this is Quentin for you guys. Well, this is Quentin. Okay, all right. So those two were the ones we're talking about. So I just think with them two, I like the energy. I like the fact they get on and it's so smooth and easy. Like I said, I'm interested. I'm intrigued to find out how it's going to play out in terms of dynamics. I like them too, but I think someone said in the chat the last time we had the last video that I did, and it might be interesting because I don't know if he's going to have the level of assertiveness that she needs. I don't know. I know. I just don't. If your previous girlfriend is the reason why you said that you tattooed a finger, and the reason why it didn't work out is because you weren't that necessarily that strong, Lee's giving. I'm not even saying that Lee's even that strong. I'm just saying that Lee looks like she know what she doing, what she want, what she gonna go for. So if you out here dilly dallying or not being strong, bruh, she gonna run you to the ground, baby. Okay, so I'm just hoping that he got the strength for it. That's what I'm saying. I hope he got the strength for it. Go for it, Serena.
I thought that he said something about because he put so much of her first. I thought that's what he said.
No boundaries. You can't assert yourself that you want. That's what I'm saying. You can't do that with Lee, baby. It look like you can't do that with Lee. That's what I'm saying. It look like they, you know. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I hope that's not the case. And you know what I mean? Like I hope that there's been growth, and I hope that that he's learned from those things as well. So hopefully he's got it on point from there. I'm hoping. You know what I mean? So that's what I thought with those particular two. Any other thoughts on Lee and our boy Quentin?
Nope.
No. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next beef that happened. So we obviously had then. I want to talk about I said next beef, but it wasn't really beef. More to do with conversation. I apologize, not beef. We had Janelle. Okay, come on, Janelle. Come on now. Come on, Janelle. And then we also had our brother Herbert as well. Okay, our brother Herbert. They had another good connection. It seems they ended up holding hands, baby, by the end. So yes, Sabrina, talk to me. What are you saying?
Honey, they're gonna be in love. They're gonna be in love. They're gonna be in love. They're gonna really like each other. Like if you remember that scene when they were talking, it was daylight outside. I am so sorry about my light, guys, because it keeps going in and out, and I have no idea why.
That's
so
okay,
my
baby.
apologies.
Don't worry about that.
So it was light outside, and then by the end of their conversation, it had gotten dark. So they were out there for a really, really long time, and just like she said, the conversation just kind of flowed. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think he's a really, really handsome guy. I feel like their energies were really, really good. He seemed like he was real calm and cool, and she was like fun and energetic, and like their energies were so different, but it was like a perfect mesh. Yeah, that's what I got from it. I'm interested in seeing how they're going to play out. But I can say this, I feel like towards the end, or maybe when they get to know each other, that she may be a bit too much woman for him. And I don't mean I mean because she has a really strong personality, and because he's so calm and cool, I think because of this setting, her personality might kind of overpower a little bit at times, and he may be like, you know what I mean? So, but I hope that it really can work out with them, because I really enjoy watching them.
I
hear that. Thank you, Sabrina. JR?
Yeah, I like this connection too. It seemed genuine. They looked like they had a good time sitting down, getting to know each other. Again, early days, but it's a good start for both of them. And considering Janelle has had a fair bit to say about some of the other guys at this point so early, the fact that she actually has, expressed such a level of like for him so early, that's a good thing. He seems like a very chilled dude. He wasn't the focal point of this episode. So I think he did more than enough to survive any heat or anything like that. Kept it pleasant, kept smiling. And yeah, the conversation, it had a few layers to it. Wasn't necessarily deep, but it seemed enjoyable. And if it impressed Janelle, then it must have done something, because like I said, she was quite outspoken so early. So yeah, not mad at it at all. I look forward to seeing what develops, if anything does.
Love that. Tyler, welcome to the panel. Good to see someone new. We're talking about Ready to Love Dallas, baby. But we're talking about Herbert and Janelle and their connection. What was your thoughts seeing Herbert and Janelle? What did you think of their connection?
Peace, everybody.
Ooh,
my
sir, hold on. Damn.
Was that too loud? I'm sorry.
No, the depth, the deeps, the bass. Oh Lord, kill this lady, sir. Go for it, Cap. Go for it.
No, from this first episode, I really like Herbert and Janelle. Their chemistry kind of just reminds me of a flow where it's just, effortless, it's not rushed, just seemed organic, and they probably talked the most out of all the connections they seem to made and everything. And The only thing that I do have a question on was, well, I'm curious about, Janelle did say earlier that, you know, she wants to adopt kids. And I think she was talking to Red about that. And Herbert, when they were talking with each other, he wants to have his own kids, I'm assuming, because he said, you know, whatever the Lord is willing to give me. So as they start to, you know, go on this journey together, I think that's just the only conversation I'm kind of curious about when it's brought up, of if she's willing to compromise or if he's willing to compromise, how will that mesh? And so I think if they like each other well enough and there's like chemistry there, they'll work it out some way, because it seemed like, you know, they didn't want to stop talking to each other and really get to know more. Another thing too was, you mentioned about the jacket, Kojo, from the last panel, and I went back into the episode and it turned out to be Marvin's jacket because he has that red handkerchief on his left side. So I was like, Herbert's not the only one, and we'll probably see in the second, maybe the third episode, of how they started to connect. But it's going to be pretty dicey a little bit. But I like Herbert and Janelle. It just shows, you know, there's something genuine there out of everybody.
I like this guy already, Tyler. I like energy, man. I like the voice, I like the energy. Soothing, you know, as well. Soothing, you know. Whilst you're there, because I know you missed a little bit earlier on, so maybe you can quickly just update what your thoughts are. We spoke about TEQUILA. What's your thoughts on TEQUILA situation? What was your quick thoughts on that?
TEQUILA situation, I'm pretty much the same thoughts with JR and Sabrina. I do remember from TEQUILA, she talked about how from her past experiences, she thinks she has an idea of what men like. So I think she kind of carried that over into the show and just thought, you know, well, this is how I should approach it now, especially with the Philip conversation of, you know, him saying spiritual and religious, you know, are you spiritual and religious? And then out of nowhere, well, let me ask you this, what is your deal with sex on that? And it's just like, oh, it's like, wait a minute. Thought we were talking about, you know, spirituality. So that was curious. HABIB, oh man, she's pretty much caught in HABIB's web. I don't know how, I don't know why. I mean, first off, a brother named HABIB, I that's a first. I've never, we all know, right?
It means love.
Yeah, I don't
Your
know.
real name's Travis.
Travis. See, there we go. I'm like, that's got to be a stage name or saxophonist name. I don't know, but that just threw me way off guard. The only other connection that I thought was cool was her and Mario. That was the one he had lost his father. Yeah. That was the only one that I saw was like, you know, somewhat genuine in some way, but other than that, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm surprised she made it, but I hope for the best for her, if anything. That's all.
I appreciate that. No worries, I appreciate that. Good summary. Sabrina, JR, any other thoughts on Janelle and Herbert?
No.
No. All right, cool. Let's have a quick conversation then about the beef that happened between obviously Eunuch and our brother. I think is it Brother Red? If I'm not correct, it's Brother Red. So they had a little bit of a beef. Now I know we mentioned a little bit earlier on because we spoke about obviously Eunuch a little bit, but let's talk specifically Eunuch and Red and their situation, because the old girl told us straight she ain't feeling that man. Okay, sorry to that man, but she don't know who he is. But their situation, you know, they were talking about, you know, DJing, etc. And he mentioned his job. She's also into, I think, film and TV as well, so she's very much heavily involved in that industry. But you know, she in no uncertain terms let him know this ain't it, and this is no way we're gonna play. So I want to get you guys' thoughts. Maybe you saw it differently. Maybe she was flirting. I don't know. I've had a crazy day, so you know, people see things in different lights. But what's your thoughts to Eunuch and our brother Red as well? What's your thoughts there, Sabrina? What are you telling me?
So he has a thought job. And those are her words. I just say he's a DJ. So in her words, he has a thought job, and she know him from somewhere, probably at the club. So she said that, because she's a film producer, etc., they probably run in the same circles, but he has a thought job. So I don't know. It just made me feel like you kept saying you knew this brother. You kept saying might run in the same circles. But he got a thought job. So I'm just like, make it make sense. You know what I mean? Like, I really do think about things a little bit deeper. And I'm just like, well, if you run in the same circles and if you've seen him somewhere and he got a thought job, like, what are you saying about yourself? Like, stop it. Like, it just made me, things that make you go, So I didn't really feel like it was kind of cool. Like, the whole thing is like in dating, and I say this all the time, is in dating, it's like we're collecting data, and it's like she didn't collect anything. The only thing that she collected was he was a DJ, and I mean, so the personal trainer, he personal trains women. He works out with women all day. Is that a thought job? He's a doctor. As a matter of fact, he's a gynecologist. He all day long. Is that a thought job? I mean, I don't know. I just, you know what I'm saying? So it just made me feel some type of ways. Like, she didn't even give him like a chance. And like I always say, like, you don't know these people. Like, find out more about them. You know what I mean? So it kind of just made me feel like, dang, she kind of dropped the ball. I'm not saying that they were going to get married and they were a perfect couple. I'm just saying, dang, like, it's the first day. Like, get to know him a little bit more. He actually might really be a good guy that just has a DJing job, So I don't know. It's just my thoughts.
Tyler, what's your thoughts?
Oh dear, Unique and Red. So
I keep hearing calling it eunuch. It's unique. My bad.
Oh, Unique. Wait, it is Unique.
No, you're right. I was wrong. I keep on saying eunuch.
Eunuch.
I'm wrong. It's unique.
It could go.
These people are killing me with these names and spellings, man. We'll go for it, bro.
That is something that I would want to know too. Like, where did they meet? How did she know Red, and how did Red know her? What was that dynamic like? Did he know of him or somebody, or did they actually conversate? The thought job term was definitely hilarious, and I found it funny because I think JR, you mentioned it too, when she was talking with Marvin, and he mentioned his profession of being an erotic author. It was a different reaction of like, oh, it threw me off, but I'm intrigued. And it's like, well, erotic, when you look up the term, it's sexually arousing. So Marvin has an audience, but for Red, it's a thought job. And I don't know, like, maybe in her mind, for Red being a DJ and a comedian, it's just out in the open in public. But with Marvin's profession, it's more mystique, or he's writing, so maybe that's why it's kind of captivating her. But yeah, I really want to know how Red and Unique met, and just like what that dynamic was like, and how long did it last, or just kind of going from there.
Yeah, Tyler, go for it, Joe.
Yeah, like, just to add from what Tyler was saying, I think, you had Marvin. Not only did he say that he's an author and he's into BDSM, but he also made reference to taking women down into his dungeon and servicing them there, right?
Yeah.
So, the comment about foot job to me was shade. It was, taking a shot at this guy. She already must have made up in her mind that this ain't going to go nowhere. I think there's a 10-year gap between the two of them too. So she may even have this opinion that, at your age, you're DJing. Nah, that's not really a profession that I would assume is going to be, something a grown man should be doing.
And they make a lot of money.
Yeah. So I think there may be some judgment about that. But from what I've seen, he is a celebrity DJ. Like, he actually does big events. It's not like he's doing local house parties and dotting it up with groupies. I think he's actually paid to do major events, and he might have shown some humility or being humble and not really talked up his level of professionalism. So he just led with, I'm a DJ and a comedian, and she probably was just like, nah, waste of time. I'm not interested in that. But like you said, the crazy thing is the erotic author who's basically just writing about dirty talk to a female audience, I assume, right?
Right.
Into BDSM, tying women up, probably using some type of implements and cuffs and whips and chains and all that type of
Shades
stuff.
of Black, right?
Exactly. 50 Shades of Black. How is that not a red flag to someone who's so not prudish? I want to say so critical of what the DJ does. I think Sabrina, you made a great point. What the DJ does is out in public. He has an audience that can visibly see his work when he's doing his thing. When he's on the stage doing his comedy, he's gonna have an audience, so she can, be rest assured that he's in public view. But if you're into BDSM, that's a seedy, really underhanded, low key, nobody knows what you're doing type stuff. So how are you comfortable even considering someone to date who has that type of lifestyle and has that type of fetish, and that she's secretly into that herself? So it didn't make sense from a dating perspective, but maybe it's there may be some type of curiosity she has based on a sexual preference.
Interesting points. Sean, go for it.
Yeah, I think that I can't get the names down. Who's the lady's name is Unique, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, we kind of know the formula at this point for Ready to Love. So Unique is going to be the truth teller. And we know the truth tellers always got to tell it. They don't care who they hurt. And we see them season after season after season. They can be rude and right? That combination is what I think Unique has, right? Because how many people are successful DJs? She thinks she's known him, so obviously their paths have crossed. So they operate in similar circles because she's in television production. So for her to then say that and then to, transition to, oh, it's a thought job. I mean, think it, you don't got to say it, So that's where I see it going. I feel like she's just going to be the one throughout the season that whatever comes to top of her mind, she's going to feel justified, and she's just going to shoot off at the mouth. And, maybe she'll land somebody, maybe she won't, but it'll quickly implode, because to me, that personality trait is of a person that is really insensitive, because they don't think about other people's feelings, and that doesn't bode well in long-term relationships. So listen, Red could very well be a thought. I don't know that. But she just met him, and I don't think that is the appropriate thing to say when you just meet somebody and you're trying to make connections on a dating show. And for this other guy, listen, I'm not sure where Ready to Love is finding their castmates, but this is going to prove to be very, very interesting, because this guy said in the first episode, he's a dom. Okay, all right, brother, go for it. Listen, Black people, truly, we are not monolithic. So I
feel bad for Red because he did confess his feelings a bit towards. Oh, go ahead, Sean. My bad.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know if that really positions him, his line of work really makes for the best, dating career, long term. We see the sex therapists, Sabrina, I know in your neck of the woods, we had a couple of those. Again, those don't really age well. So that's my take. It'll be fun to watch.
Not him talking about Mr. Maintenance. Anyway, yes, go for it, Tyler.
No, I was going to say I feel bad for Red because he confessed his feelings a bit to Unique when they were having their talk, and then it just flipped when he was talking about his job, and she just said thought job, and all of a sudden he just probably had a change of heart, like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work out. It's not.
He should have said that. It's not, because it was like she kind of slightly like attacked him a little bit. She kept saying it over and over. Like, what if he was like, "Oh, you what is it? You a bottle girl? Oh, that's a thought job. You a thought." Like, she would have, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang.
Right. What kind of TV film do you produce? Like,
yeah,
you could have flipped that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was just a lot for me. So I get it. Yeah, I agree with y'all.
And yeah, like Unique, I think I was surprised because when she was listening to him say he's a family man and what he was looking for, she was still turned off. And he was actually saying what I think someone who's serious about being on the show would actually be saying. I want a family. I'm a family man. I'm looking for the one and this, that, the other. And she still wasn't giving him no play whatsoever, no time of day. So I was surprised at that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see this collaboration or how the dates go with Unique and Marvin, because she's into she's a TV and film director. He makes BDSM situations happen. Maybe they collaborate and do something.
Right.
Maybe that's what she's thinking.
They're gonna be making films in the dungeon.
50 Shades of Black, exactly.
Oh man.
Do you think that she may know who he's, not like necessarily who, but that he's been throttling it around the town? That's why she made that statement. So less about it being a thought job, but kind of indirectly, passively, aggressively went around it by saying thought job instead of just saying, listen, I know about your ass. You've been in the streets.
Exactly. Yep.
Could be, but does she know him that well to hide it? Like, if she's that vocal, I think she would have said it. I know you've been hoeing around. I heard your name. I heard your reputation. But don't talk to me. Like, she could have said that. And, she would have been within her rights to say it to a degree because she's just meeting the guy. And if he's presenting himself a certain way and she knows different, then I think she would have said it. But I think it was just, she's not attracted to him. The visuals aren't working for her. So anything that comes out his mouth, like, she's turned off. It doesn't matter what he said. I'm a family man. I'm looking for a wife. And no, next. But I think Marvin has the visuals that she likes. So it doesn't matter what Marvin says he does, because she's feeling that visual and she's already thinking about potentially what the dates might be like. And we've had the conversation many times about the attraction thing, but in this instance, I think Marvin's physical gives him a lot of grace, evidently, because let's be real, if the careers were reversed and Red was the erotic author doing BDSM, he would have been sent home. He would have been in the bottom, like, no doubt about it. But someone who leads with that sexual occupation runs the risk of turning a lot of people off, and he hasn't done that yet, to my surprise.
Yeah, you know what, JR, that's the good point that you made, because I was thinking probably Marvin activated a sexual shadow side within Unique that probably a lot of people may have missed, because it may be those type of things that she's really into, but she's just not as public about it. So she may say that she's thrown off, but she actually is intrigued because that's probably what she's really into. And with Red, I mean, besides because she's in that space, so she meets those kind of people. I would say it probably wouldn't. She probably didn't see it working out either because she's looking at her image as well. Like she's in TV and film. So how would that look with me being with a DJ? On paper, probably not so much. But with Marvin, he's more so in a secluded position. He works by himself. He probably doesn't go out willy-nilly or so maybe together we could work out in a way, or it might not just be a official thing. It might be a flinger, so I don't know, but definitely Marvin activated something within Unique for sure. Oh, Kojo, you're on mute, I think.
About that, I was talking about things. Seaway. We're talking about Unique and Red situation. She told that man he had a thought job.
He definitely.
Seaway.
Uh-oh.
I knew she goes.
I mean, I don't know what was said because I was trying to hurry up. I forgot about this, the show came on, so I had to watch it.
Nothing really said. I mean, everyone had different opinions. You say your opinion of what you thought of Red and Unique, that situation.
My thing is, did she lie? I mean, the man has a thought job for sure. I just don't want to. I wouldn't want to date no DJ, personally, but I'm also just not in that industry where I have the patience for that type of situation. Do I believe that if he had a different type of face and a different type of height, would it be given something a little different? Of course. I think people would have more patience for his career, but I think once you get to a particular age, you're not trying to date no DJ. Because it's just, and what else does he do? He's a DJ. What else?
Comedian.
Yeah, stand up.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But would you date a guy that does BDSM and is an erotic writer?
Absolutely not. I was just saying, I was like, dang, he's the finest one on the show, and he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I said, they ain't working with nothing this season. The nicest two looking guys on the show, one got an ex-wife that he was divorced 6 months ago, and the other one is in the basement with Candy. Look, nobody can win it at this point. It's a problem. So I don't know what y'all said already, but they ain't really got too many options. I'm gonna let you know right now.
Well, we know if anything, Seaway is gonna take the side of the truth teller. So
I'm interested to hear what y'all got to say, but
you gotta be rude. That's my new phrase for this for this season. It's rude and right. So you're gonna be rude, you're gonna be right, but you're gonna be rude. So that's it.
The nicest guy is the guy with the waves. He was sweet. The one with the one they said height challenge. That's what they said.
Vertically challenged, they call them.
Yeah, vertically challenged.
The one that was being really
which one?
The one that was being really nice to Tequila.
Oh, okay.
He was very sweet. The way he really tried to speak life into that lady. I don't know if we there yet, or we already talked about him.
You can go there.
But he was very sweet. He was very nice.
Okay.
But no, I'm personally just not dating no DJ, and I wasn't dating a DJ 5 years ago. I just don't have time for you to be in the club all day, all night, day parties, night parties. No thanks.
That's fair. I thought you were going to talk about this gentleman here. You don't think he's nice? You look Ghanaian.
I don't trust Nigerian men, so I'm sorry.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa. Slander on the Nigerians. I mean, hey, listen, I'm Ghanaian, so it's not my business. I'm not defending them. They don't defend me.
Soon as I saw the Niger flag on the necklace, I signed off. So that's all I had to say.
It's not my business. That's not my business. Nigerians, come and defend yourself because the Ghanaians.
But women are not defending the Niger men. They already know too. They're not defending him.
Hey, listen, that's not my business. I'm gonna leave. That's not going to do.
Seaway, I think you need to do some kind of Clean that up a little bit. Say in your, you know how to lawyer it up, because they're gonna be they're gonna be tussling with you in them after comments. So
They're
just
gonna
clean it
have
up.
to
There's a
tussle.
better way to say it.
There's no better way. I said I wouldn't date Nigerian men. I'm not dating no Nigerian men. That's why I said they want to, they can.
I'm trying to help you. There is, in your experience, Nigerian men, have not all, you got to do the not all, but, something like that.
You can't save us, Sean.
I'm trying, because you're gonna hit. I am the domestic. I'm the domestic diplomat for Nigeria, and I just come against those comments. You're gonna get them comments.
No, because I've been saying that since I was about 18, 19 years old. I made an exception in college because I said, Dag, let me just make an exception. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Regretted it to the 10th degree and never look. You always go with your first instinct. So no, absolutely not.
All right. Then I digress. It stands. You said what you said.
Let us swim in the dark, in the deep pools, Sean. Let us swim in the deep pools. As for me, I don't co-sign those particular statements. Those are seaways and seaways alone.
The only thing I'll say, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
He might be a king without a kingdom, though, because he said he's a royalty.
Did he say it's royalty?
Yes, he did. He did. He sure did.
We're from Samunda, Wakanda.
I'm not getting into
it. Y'all are bad vibes. I got nice to do y'all. These are you lot's vibes. When they start cussing and saying that the panel was bad vibes, they mean you guys. I'm just saying.
No, but coach, that's what he said.
Hey, I ain't saying nothing.
I'm just telling you what he said. He said he's proud of his royal heritage. And he needs to, the woman that he's with needs to embrace his Nigerian culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, he's coming to America.
Now, JR.
So say y'all.
Don't tack that to me,
Chris. If you see this, you can see me and Sabrina not in this, bro. Me and Sabrina
don't
not
tack
in
it
this.
on.
Right, Sean, you trying to clean me up.
Tyler
You
too.
and JR 10 times worse than what I said.
No, I did not say that. I quoted what the brother said, and I said he might be a king without a kingdom because we need to see more to understand, where this royalty lies. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we all live in God's kingdom, right? So
that's true.
So
I'm just trying to make it easier for when Chris sees this later on. He sees his piece. Is y'all three, okay? Just when he sees that, it's y'all three and you three only. Because I ain't said another word.
What is your deal? I didn't say anything that was not. I didn't say anything that was not part of what this guy said.
Be a king without him.
What?
I don't know how you got there, but you got there. So I'm just saying, if Chris sees this, I just don't want none of that smoke. Okay, let me at least get
he was well educated. He came off well educated. He looked like he got a good job. I can't speak to his kingdom or lack thereof, but he did seem like a nice, well educated young man. He was one of the better ones for sure that I saw on the show. So I'll give him that. My overall opinion still stands, but he seems fine.
And his occupation as a construction developer and investor is, much better than.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly. It's much better than what we've just been speaking about. So he came across well. Didn't put his foot in his mouth or get any heat, and first impression, it went well for him. I don't think he was even mentioned, and he didn't get that much camera time aside from the fact that he arrived first. So, it's all good for our boy Chris at the moment.
Well, listen, I'm more than willing to apologize. So if I've offended anyone, if I've offended Chris, it's not my intention, and I apologize.
You disrespected the royal heritage.
That's it. Listen, I'm learning. Seaway told me I don't know how to apologize, so I'm practicing. So I apologize. If the brother has a full-blown kingdom and he's doing big things, hey, far be it from me to
not count. You were always apologizing facetiously. This is not a real apology.
See, wait, you don't get to police my apology, right? We don't get to police Keke Palmer's dress and attire and her engagement with Usher. You don't get to police a black man's apology. I am apologizing, okay? I am contrite.
Not the okay.
Sorry. Okay? I don't want the smoke. I'm in a place in my life that I want peace. So if I said something out of turn, I'm sorry. That's it.
Carnage is what we like.
I'm in a
All right,
season.
cool. Oh, gracious kings, love it. Okay, cool. So that situation happened. We've actually pretty much extended most of it. You guys came a bit late, so you guys missed most of the conversation. I can't lie to you. Brandon and Lee. Oh, I guess we talked about Brandon earlier on, but Brandon and Lee situation. I don't remember if you remember. He had a conversation with Lee, and he felt like he was judged by Lee when he told her his story about the fact that obviously he had been married twice to the mother of his kids and divorced, and he told her the story, and she said obviously he's moving a bit savage or something like that, whatever, which is a bit of a shame. Just in case you don't remember who they are, Brandon, very, very handsome guy, tall, handsome, with the open shirt out as well. He knows what he's doing. And obviously, if you do remember as well, Lee here as well. Okay, so, but he felt like he was being judged by Lee in their conversation. Want to get you guys' thoughts, get your thoughts on this situation between Brandon and Lee. What was your thoughts? Anyone can take it if they feel ready to go ahead. Brandon and Lee. Yes, Jay, I'll go for it.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that he felt judged, and maybe he was, because like I said before, his situation would be a lot for some people. Coming into a setting where she's probably looking for someone in a similar relationship position or have similar relationship goals to her. If he's already got almost a full plate, then she may not be feeling him, but at least she didn't put it in a mean, aggressive or condescending way. But he seems like he's gonna be sensitive to anybody kind of saying anything about that, because obviously there is an element of bravery, wanting to try again, start a new relationship with someone. But I just still feel like it's 6 months since divorce. Like we said earlier, we don't know how long the separation was, but somebody hears that, naturally their ears are going to stand up and be like, nah, this is too much. And like I said, his visuals may play some role. He looks like he's fairly tall, so that may give him a little bit of grace, but for a long-term relationship, there'll be a lot to think about. And it's still early, so we're not there yet, but it would be a lot to consider for anybody to want to really get seriously involved.
Let's take the mantle next. Brandon Lee. Judgment. Yes, Seaway, go for it.
I think he's kind of in a lose-lose situation. I really appreciated his honesty. I think he was very forthcoming with his situation, which I think is a good sign of his character. And I don't necessarily fault him for being in the 10-year marriage, getting divorced, and trying it out again. I think, well, it could be a sign of codependence, or it could be a sign of really trying to make it work with the mother of your 4 kids or 3 kids at the time, right? That's not really the problem. I think the big problem is that he's here in general at this time. I think if this all happened maybe 2 years ago, his story would be received a little better. But I think with the knowledge of the fact that he already went back with his ex-wife before, which most people, when they get divorced, there's no circling back. So to circle back after a divorce is already kind of extreme. I think that's just a red flag because it's only been 6 months. So did they judge him? they didn't really seem like they judged him per se. I just feel like they made a decision that his timeline and his situation just wasn't for them. And I think that was actually a smart decision, because I just think he needs either more time for himself or more time for other people to be comfortable with his situation. Because even his response, oh, maybe I may go the savage route, it's like, you haven't even decided yourself how you want to process the second divorce. You know, like, that's just kind of a lot. I was hoping they didn't send him home, though, because he's honestly one of the few things we have to look at. But if they do send him home, I mean, it is what it is. There's that. But yeah, I just think he has a complicated situation, and 4 kids, like True Love Forever says, it's just a lot. That's just a lot. Even if he didn't have the 2 divorce situation, 4 kids is just a lot. So that's kind of what I think.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Ali, you want to take it?
I think, yeah, it is a tricky situation with Brandon. Although I don't know, because it sometimes it might turn around where he might be saved and make it to the next round. Because I'm thinking from, I think it was DC, Ready to Love. I think it was Devontae. He had 3 or 4 kids with 3 different women or so, and he was able to go for it. And he actually connected at the time with I think her name was Alila or Alila. I
Aisha.
mispronounced Aisha. Oh my goodness,
Dante
Aisha.
and Aisha.
Yeah, Dante and Aisha. Yeah, and eventually they clicked at the time. So maybe there might be somebody out there in the group that takes a liking into Brandon. But other than that, I mean, the chances are just kind of slim to none. And then the timeline too, with the marriage that he had with his ex-wife, being married twice, and after 6 months, you're on the show. I'm thinking, well, what happened with that marriage? Did he possibly pull a Jeffrey? Because Jeffrey had her little situation going on. So there's kind of there needs to be some kind of investigation there. And I don't think there's just any proper healing. Like, why not just take the time to yourself to recoup, wonder why it went wrong, what could you do better, things of that, and just really get to know who Brandon is instead of just going on a show. So we'll just have to see. Either want HABIB or Brandon. Like, that's all.
I like Brandon. I'm not saying I want to be with him, but I mean, y'all didn't really hear what I had to say about him earlier. But I mean, yeah, but for the show, he absolutely is a walking red flag to all the women. But I think the thing is I don't know. I feel like, and I know a lot of women aren't really even trying to date a man with that many kids, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like, well, what if the woman had 4 kids? So it's kind of like I wouldn't date her. I just feel like it's always someone for someone out here. You know what I mean? You're going to meet somebody that's going to be your person, and they're not going to care how many kids you have. And I feel like personally, his wife or his next ex-wife is not on this show. That's just how I feel. But the fact that he just got divorced just 6 months ago, and like I said earlier, y'all wasn't on here. What if they were separated for 3 years? You know what I mean? And the divorce. And I think in Texas, you have to wait like a whole year before you can even get divorced. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a lot of different variables. It's a lot of different things like behind the scenes that we don't know about Brandon. So, but you're sitting down and it's like kind of like speed dating. So people are trying to hurry up and get to know him. And then the stuff that he kind of like, well, yeah, I've been that. So of course it is going to kind of like raise some eyebrows, but I kind of feel like he seems like a good guy. I just hope that someone kind of gives him, gives him a little bit of interest so we can find out more about him. You know what I mean? Because he might make it to the end. He might find his wife off the show. Who knows? Because they see something in him because there's a lot of guys out here that are single that ain't never been divorced with no kids, and they trash. And he just got divorced 6 months ago, got 4 kids, and he could be amazing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just look at it in a different kind of way. But I'm just saying he's not for me, but I think that he will absolutely be for someone else.
Thank you, Sabrina, for being fair. For us divorced guys, out there, I think, listen, it shows that we're able to commit, right? So at least he's not afraid of commitment. And he went back and, he's persistent. So he tried again. So hats off to that. And let's see, 4 kids is a lot. And I think he's 30 something. So that's a lot right there. But, look, people do it. It's manageable. So I think, hey, look, and the double standard is men usually, we're not bearing the brunt of it. I mean, I don't want to assume and say how involved or not he is in his children's lives, but typically it's, it's the women that do most of the heavy lifting with the children, right? So, yeah. But then he said something that I'm just curious about. It's going to be very random. I'm not judging his career. I'm just curious. He said he's a train conductor or train something or the other. Is there a metropolitan train system in Dallas? I didn't know that. Does anybody know that? Is there a train, anybody in the audience in Dallas? Or does he work for Amtrak, or so does that mean he travels a lot? That when he said that, I was thrown off because I didn't know that they had a major train system in Dallas. Oh, okay. Somebody said,
yeah, he's a dispatcher, and he can work remotely doing that.
Oh, okay. They said they have a light rail. Oh, okay. See, I learned.
Okay. I appreciate it, Sean. Thank you for that contribution. I think that's all the scenarios that have happened this episode. So, if I can remember correctly, I think that's all the scenarios that we've gone through. We've talked about every single one of them. So yeah, I think we've gone through pretty much every single one of them. Tequila.
We talked about the transracial guy. You talked about him. You talked about the transracial guy?
Transracial?
Yeah, Habibi.
How is he transracial? Oh my God.
Yeah, because he's black, but clearly he has adopted a Middle Eastern identity.
Transcultural.
No, it's transracial. He's not Middle Eastern.
Is he trying to be more like?
He's changed his name because Habibi is a term of endearment. It's not somebody's name. So,
He's not trying to be like Nation of Islam type situation, though?
No. He said he's lived in Dubai and he's adopted the culture, and that's his identity. He identifies with his Middle Eastern brothers and sisters.
I think he had a tattoo of.
That's what Rachel Dolezal was, transracial. I'm not making this up. So I don't know what's going on today. I can't wait.
I don't know what's going on today. I have no clue. Transracial. He just couldn't say that he adopted a different identity.
I thought he had
he changed his name to Habibi. His name is not Habibi. Okay.
No, his name's Travis.
Thank you, JR. His name is his birth name is Travis, but he put on that head covering. And he is saying he identifies with Middle Eastern culture.
The thing is, he performs like that. He actually wears that headdress and everything for what he actually does.
Yeah.
Every video or everything he does, he's wearing that.
As a saxophonist too?
Sean's right. That's the definition. I just Googled it. You're right.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. Come on, guys. And at the end of the day, he's playing a saxophone. That is an American instrument. Like he's a whole persona. This guy is gonna wreak havoc on all of us. I hope they keep him because I want to watch the madness. Because then he says, "Oh, when he was describing his career, you know, what did he say? Like it romances the ladies or something like, you know, like what, bro?
He's like a snake charmer,
It's like,
but
what
using
are
the
you talking
saxophone
about,
instead of the
dude?
flute.
Do you even believe this?
Yeah, I thought it was more like cultural appropriation. Like he's trying to pick a different culture. I mean, clearly he's black, but whichever he's trans something for sure.
Let's just say the racial part. Don't say
Trans
Don't say
something.
trans something.
See where you
It's not
say
a
trans,
something.
no,
Not
trans,
racial.
y'all not talking about that. Transcultural or transracial.
Racial. He wants to be Middle Eastern. He is a person of color.
Yeah,
child,
involving, encompassing, or extending across 2 or more races. That's right.
Thank you, Sabrina. Like this
Yeah.
is. Come on.
My bad, Sean. You was right.
But he from Southeast and mixed with a lot of caca, I thought.
Well, hey, that's what I see trans foolishness, but you know, we're not gonna.
Oh my god.
Well, if y'all get in the comments, direct that at Sean because I'm saying that they could be some Middle Eastern people over in the Middle East that are black. But anyway. I don't want no. I'm just saying that I don't want no comments. Don't at me, please.
The Nigerians and now the Middle Easterns is coming at you.
Y'all just want to be hurt today, right? When the comments come in, it's not my
I
business.
didn't say anything about Middle Eastern people. I said that he is a person of color from America perpetuating to be someone from the Middle East.
Right.
And he has changed his name to HABIB, which is not his birth name and actually is a term of endearment in the Middle Eastern culture. I mean, okay, we're truth tellers, right? Like that's the truth. You know, it could be a little rough, but that is the facts. His name is Travis. He goes by Habibi, which means he's wearing a Middle Eastern inspired head garb, and he's lived in Dubai, but he is not from there. And he says he identifies with their culture.
Don't forget the salmon suit to go with them.
Hey, like, what are we saying here, folks? Not that controversial yet. Now, maybe the transracial part, okay, some people may or may not agree with that term, but that's what it's described as.
It was funny how Jessica pointed out, like, I don't see any red flags because all I see is just red. She knew off the bat, just something was just
everything
off.
is
everything is just red. Like,
I think also a good point is if he keeps his hair covered the whole time, people are going to think he's hiding something underneath there.
That's actually very true, though. Ladies did say that. No, I mean, listen, it's very true though, because if you can't see underneath the hair, and you're always wearing the head wrap, that there may be something underneath that. We're not saying it is or isn't, but it's a fair point to make. I ain't gonna be mad at that. I can't be mad at that. That's a fair point to make. So, whether people take it off or not, I don't know.
That's right. Somebody said, Katie said, stop gaslighting me. Gaslighting me.
What we gonna do? We're gonna gaslight you, Sean. Don't worry about it. But no. Any other thoughts? Any last thoughts, guys, on this episode? Because I think we've covered every single one. So, any last episodes? Listen, I'm sure we'll get more tasty the next. It's too early. I just haven't seen anything yet. This episode was very bland,
predictable,
not bad. Yeah, like nothing per se was sticking out 100%. You know what I mean? So there have been some crazy first episodes we've had on Ready to Love. So I was hoping for more. So hopefully by episode 2, we get more in-depth understanding of some of these characters, some knowledge about who they are, because that would help. But any other thoughts on this, guys?
Do y'all think they're gonna bring more people because they're starting with 18? You know, they always usually start with 20. Do y'all think they're gonna add more?
I'm assuming they're gonna bring some little curveballs.
I think so. I mean, that's
I
usually
hope so.
what Tommy does. He brings curveballs, so probably
Yeah.
bring 2 more people. Yeah.
It would
Yeah,
it'd be
hopefully the
nice to
curveball's
get 2
good.
more people.
Yeah.
Everyone
I
seems
think
very
when-
normal. Like no one seems like characters. Everyone seems pretty normal. So I mean, minus
Yeah,
HABIB.
good on chat. BB's getting the shots fired at him all day, boy. I ain't mad at it.
Are they gonna add more people to the cast? You know how they like throw in some, ringers somewhere in there?
Sean, were you just muted? Did Sabrina just asked that?
Oh, I didn't hear. I mean, you don't have to just destroy my whole life. I obviously didn't hear.
No, but it was actually too
But
funny
you literally
because
just
Sabrina
asked
Maybe
literally
they didn't hear
just
me.
asked
Did
that
not
before you
hear.
said it.
I was like, wait, is this deja vu? What's happening? She just
I didn't hear. I was otherwise disengaged. Forgive me. I apologize.
Yeah, because they started off with 18 people. You know, they usually start off with 20. So we'll see.
I'm also curious.
Sean got the sound off.
I literally did. And I was like in the comments and I clicked something. So I did not hear it. So my apologies, Sabrina.
No, it's okay. What were you about to say, Tyler?
No, I was going to say, I'm really curious of how they'll have certain, I guess, tasks along the way, because like from, let's say, seasons 1 and 2 in Miami, the first one, I think it was the guys, they had to introduce the ladies to their exes. And then the second part of Miami, it was switched around. So hopefully they do it, at the same time, or, both in this season. I think another thing I'm also curious about is Tommy had what was it, the hotline from last season. I wonder if that's going to be used as well in this one too, where they'll have the chance to either keep everybody safe or they're going to take away
That
the
was
hotline.
dumb. I hope they don't do that because that was very dumb. They didn't even use
I
it
agree.
last
Yeah,
season.
They
the
did.
guys didn't use that last season, right? It was the guys only.
Yeah, they let Jonique go when they could have saved her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't bring that back. That was kind of silly.
Yeah.
Only thing they need to bring back is what they haven't done. They need to take us back to the resort. That was literally
yeah,
it
that
hasn't
was
been
such a good
epic,
season.
that epic since the resort.
Yep,
We need to
my
see people
favorite
keep jumping
scene
down the hallway. That's
is
what we
when Simone was calling out Winter about Jay.
She said somebody was in the corridor. It's crazy.
That's it.
That's what we need back. Take us back to the resort.
Yeah, that was a good one when they're all in one space and everybody gets equally held accountable. So I like that. I'm with you.
All right, cool. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up because I'm knackered now, so my energy's waning, and I'll be back next week probably with better energy. Sean, give us the benediction, please. We're gonna get on our way.
Okay. Well, I think we're off to a good start with another season of Dallas. I think we've learned some lessons along the way. Be honest, be truthful, but listen, if you got to cry that early on in the process, maybe you need to cry in the closet. It's okay. We don't need you to suppress your tears, but you don't need to express your tears to everybody. Sometimes you got to cry in the closet, and that's okay, because it's not always safe. Because as Kojo mentioned, the wolves sometimes will prey on what they perceive to be the weak, right? So just be careful with who you share your emotions with, when you share your emotions with those individuals, and if they're the right person to share your emotions with. We'll also say, be you, be who you are, whomever that may be, wherever you may be, but be who you are, be honest, be truthful, don't be somebody other, don't pretend. Nobody likes a pretender, right? And then lastly, before you enter into relationships, make sure you're ready, right? If you spun the block a few times, sometimes after you spin a block, that exerts a lot of energy. You need to rest. Sometimes you just need to rest before you get back out there and run the race again. But when you are ready to run your race for love, make sure you're ready for love. Back to you, Coach.
Appreciate it, Sean. Thank you so much. Listen, audience, it's been amazing. It's been fun. It's been a great night. We've been on here for almost in total. We've been on here for the last 6 hours. So I think my body's told me to go to bed. But it's been good. It's been fun. We talked about Ready to Love. We'll be back again next week. I do believe it'll be a Monday though, guys, because I think I'm gonna be having to do some hosting on Saturday night. So I won't be on Saturday. It'll be on Monday night for next week, and then back to the usual slot on Saturday as well. So listen, we appreciate our panelists, Sabrina, Tyler. Good to see you. Hopefully, we can see you some more, and you come through for some of the other panels as well, bro. Be good to see you. JR, Seaway, Sean, as always, positive, great vibes, and you guys brought some great comments too. You know, Sean even brought transracial to us, so we now know. All right, listen. So, audience, don't do anything you wouldn't do, or that I wouldn't do, okay? And there's not much I wouldn't do. So behave yourselves out there. It's dangerous and it's hot on them streets, okay? All right, but we'll be back next week for another enthralling conversation. We'll be back actually on Monday night to continue the carnage that you guys have been bringing to my streets. The ladies tonight, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if they had run into Thanos. I'm not sure if the ladies ran into Loki. I'm not sure if they ran into Nick Fury, but whatever happened, the timeline got distorted and the ladies went crazy. But you know what? Monday night, we're back again. We're talking about if you're broke, can you talk? Yeah, I know it's crazy. So you know what? I wanted to bring the carnage to my streets. So we're going to bring it on Monday night. So if you know you got something to say.
Can you talk to who, Kojo? If you broke, can you talk? What you mean?
Means in a partner, in your relationship, if you broke, can you talk? Do you have any say? The ladies told us that old boy shouldn't be talking because he's broke. So we want to have a real conversation. If you broke and you don't make no money to the house, can you talk?
I think the question needs to be, can you talk or should you talk?
I'm gonna leave it as can you talk? I want to incite some violence.
Okay.
Oh damn.
I mean, should you talk is a good one too. So you know what I mean. Should you talk is a good one, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But so we can do both, and I'm not fast either way. To be honest, we just want a bit of violence. But listen, anyway, guys, we're back on tomorrow is Sunday, so men's panel's actually Sunday, the first one back. So I don't know. We'll figure out a topic for the Mandem. I don't know if they want to talk about Kiki. If they do, that's fantastic. Apparently, Jonah Hill's moved mad as well. So Jonah Hill's now. We're really listen. We can't catch a break. The Mandem. Jonah Hill out here doing the madness as well. So, yeah, we're not beating any allegations at this point. All right, listen, like, subscribe, click on the bell buttons for notification of uploads, guys. We appreciate you. We will see you guys tomorrow night for the men's panel. Then Monday night for more carnage. Tuesday night we got our little special membership panel as well. That'll be on Zoom with the Patreon people. So if you know your membership already or you're a Patreon member, my friends, get involved. Much love, much appreciation. We'll see you again very, very soon. Ta-da!